Welcome, brilliant minds. Today's lesson for Monday, October 30th is going to be to achieve this objective. We will explain the two most important ways that Islam grew by writing a paragraph off a tree map with text evidence. You should already have your textbook open to page 404. You already answered questions about this map, and we're going to come back to reading this text with the spread of Islam in a moment. First, just a reminder to make sure that you're turning to your agenda. Make sure you're opening up to today. And for Monday, October 30th in social studies, you want to make sure you're writing in your homework, which is Trump's new rule packet due Friday. And you can go ahead and draw an arrow so you know that's going to be due all the way on Friday. And you can write Trump's new rule packet due. Okay? Now that you've got that reminder about your homework, you can go ahead and turn back all the way back to your page of your objective. You've already at this point finished your do now and your Twitter, and we are going to start working on our thinking map. So as we read, we want to be thinking about our objective, about ways Islam grew. And when we say grew, we really mean that it spread, or that it went to new places, or that got to new people. Okay, so ways that Islam grew. And we're going to make a tree map, and we're going to see if we can get at least 4 different ways that this grew. Okay, and I'm going to help you with the first 2, and you're going to do the second 2 on your own. Let's go back to our text and begin reading. We are on page 404, where it says the spread of Islam, which we know means how Islam grew. We're going to begin reading, and as you read, we're thinking if we can find out anything about ways that Islam grew. Founding an empire. When Muhammad died in AD 632, he left no instructions about who should be the next leader of Islam. Muslims knew that no person could take Muhammad's role as prophet. They realized, however, that Islamic State needed a strong leader to keep it unified. A group of Muslim leaders chose a new type of leader called a caliph, or successor. The first caliphs. Before I go any further, I want to make sure I write down this vocabulary word about caliphs. So I'm going to go to my notes. And I don't think it's a way Islam grew, but it is an important vocabulary word, so I'm going to write it right here, just as a way for me to make sure. And caliph means successor. And it's also someone who would be the leader of Islam. So that's one of my vocabulary words. Okay, and we keep going back to this reading. The first caliphs. The first 4 caliphs were close friends or relatives of Muhammad. The goal of the caliphs was to protect and spread Islam. Their military forces carried Islam beyond the Arabian Peninsula. Because Muslim conquerors were Arab, the territory became known as the Arab Empire. By 660s, the Arab Empire included all of Southwest Asia and Northeast Africa. So it seems like I have one way it's spreading, and it's spreading through their military forces. So military is another word for army. That means they're spreading it by fighting people. So I can write here, they spread it through war. And if this is my reason, I want to make sure that I'm adding that text evidence that was a part of my objective. So I want to be looking for a quote I can add about how they spread it through war. Let's see if we can add to that while I'm reading. The Umayyads. Expansion continued under new caliphs known as the Umayyads. The Umayyads governed the Arab Empire from the city of Damascus in Syria. They ruled from 661 to 750. Under the Umayyads, Muslim rule extended farther into Asia and Africa. I haven't heard any details about it spreading through war yet, so I'm going to keep reading and keep looking out for that text evidence about it spreading through war. A century after the death of Muhammad, Muslims had created a large and powerful empire. Arab soldiers were experienced horse riders and warriors, having raided rival tribes in the past. Now they use those same skills to fight large armies. In addition, Arab soldiers believed they had a religious duty to spread Islam. Ooh, now this is a lot about how they were fighting. They were fighting on horses, and they had experience as warriors. So I'm going to go ahead and add that quote, experienced horse riders and warriors. Here I go, putting it into my first branch of my tree map. So I'm going to say experienced horse riders and warriors. Okay, so now I have text evidence about how they were able to use war to spread it because they had experience as warriors. Let's see if we can figure out a second way that Islam grew. The policies of their opponents also helped Muslims. Byzantine and Persian rulers had tried to unite their peoples under an official religion. They often mistreated those who practiced other faiths. When Muslim armies attacked, many of these people were willing to accept Muslim rule. So it sounds like the old rulers had been mean and had made everyone follow the same religion. That way, when Muslims attacked, they were willing to see if they would be a better leader. Let's see if Muslims were better leaders. After Arabs gained control, they usually let conquered peoples practice their own religions. Islam teaches that Christians and Jews are people of the book, people who believe in one God and follow sacred writings. Therefore, many Muslims respect their beliefs and practices. As time passed, many of the conquered peoples in the Arab Empire became Muslims and learned the Arab language. The customs of these conquered people also influenced Arab rulers. Eventually, the term Arab meant speaker of Arabic, not a resident of Arabia. So it sounds like it's their policies that people did like, and they actually ended up becoming more likely to be Muslim or to speak Arab because they liked the way they ruled. So I'm going to say that it's their rules or laws that also help them to grow. I can add that as a second branch of my tree map. So here I'm going to write that it was their laws that helped them. And now I need to go back and look for that text evidence, a quote to prove it. If I go back up here, what's one of the laws it seems that it was really popular? Oh, here, they let conquered peoples practice their own religions. They respected their beliefs and practices. Both those are really things that I think I would like from a leader. I'm going to go ahead and put the first one as my evidence. Let conquered peoples. Okay, so right here, I'm going to write let conquered peoples what does it say? I have to go back up and look. Let conquered peoples practice their own religions. Okay, so practice their own religions. Okay. So now I have two ways that it's spread, through war and through laws, and I have text evidence that proves it. Let's go ahead and go back to our text and see if we can find two more ways. So we can make sure that we have 4 options, okay? So I'm going to turn to the next page, and I'm going to read here about preachers and traders. These paragraphs, 1, 2, and 3 short paragraphs are going to have information for you about 2 more ways that you can use for your tree map. I want you to go ahead and read along here to see if there's 2 more that you can add. I can give you a preview that it's probably going to be something about preachers and traders, and you need to find the text evidence for that. So let's go ahead and write preachers and traders, and now you need to find the text evidence for these last 2 ways. You can go ahead and pause the video now while you read these 3 paragraphs to add those last 2 boxes in your tree map. Now that you've finished your tree map, you should be ready to start writing on your proving behavior. Before we can write our proving behavior, we want to choose what we think are the two most important ways. The objective wasn't just to know two, it was the two most important. Based on these four, I think the most important were their laws and that they were traitors. Because I think it's really interesting how religion spreads through peaceful means. So I'm going to use these two when I begin to write my paragraph for my proving behavior. Okay. I'm going to give you some sentence starters, and you're going to have to fill them in and complete them in order to achieve your objective in order 3 for the day. You want to make sure you have your 2 boxes filled in, that you've starred which of these 4 you think are the 2 most important, and that you've completed this paragraph to get that 3. For the proving behaviors, we always want to start with a paragraph that has a topic sentence. And the topic sentence always comes from the top of our tree map. So I'm going to start by saying, Islam grew very quickly because of 2 important ways. Okay? And now I'm going to talk about my first one about the law. So I'm going to say, first, Islam grew because of and then you can put your first way that you think is the most important. So you can go ahead, I would put in about laws, but you might have started different ones. You want to put in whatever one you start. The evidence of this is that they, and then you want to make sure that you're giving the text evidence you chose for that way. So you can go ahead and add from this bottom part of the branch you think is most important. And now that you have your first most important way, you want to make sure you're going to your second. If you need to pause the video here to finish these first 2 sentence starters, you can go ahead and do that. And when you're ready, you can now begin on your second branch. So you could say, second, Islam grew through. You can go ahead and add your second most important way that you think it grew. So choose whatever your second star was. And then you can add your text evidence. This is shown by, and go ahead and give your second quote. You want to make sure that you've achieved a 3 today. You want to make sure that you have all 4 branches complete with text evidence. You want to make sure that you have starred whatever you think are the top 2 most important branches. You want to make sure you've completed these 4 sentences to make a complete paragraph. And then you may go on to Shepherd Software Games or to National Geographic Kid Games. The websites are located in the description on this video as well as on the board. I hope you're very proud of the work that you did today.